Her out! The torn ID flutters to the marble at 6:02 p.m., and Charles Hemlock's $500 M legacy starts to vaporize. They see the quiet black woman in the sensible suit, the one they called their diversity hire, the token scientist they could point to in board meetings. But they don't know I'm the final signature they need. They don't know that my signature is on the holding company that controls 63.7% of Hemlock Industries, including the very patents Charles thinks he just secured in his vault, the ones tied to the server farm humming 3 floors below his Italian leather shoes. A farm that routes through a kill switch only I control, and I haven't even stood up yet. 2017, Charlotte Lobby, 2 a.m. The interview wasn't an interview. It was an interrogation under the guise of a late-night check-in after my final flight was delayed. Charles Hemlock leaned back in his chair, the leather groaning. He didn't look at my portfolio. He didn't ask about my doctorate from MIT. He swirled the amber liquid in his glass. "Dr. Vance," he said, the title dripping with a syrupy condescension. "We're a family company, a legacy. We need people who fit." He meant white. He meant male. He meant someone who wouldn't make his golf buddies uncomfortable. I just smiled. The smile felt like armor. I knew then. I knew what I would have to do, what I would have to become. But what he couldn't see was the glint in my eyes. He mistook my patience for passivity. And that mistake, it's about to cost him everything. He had no idea my mentor, the reclusive tech billionaire Jonathan Stryker, had already bought a silent, controlling interest in his company 6 months prior, specifically to place me inside. He thought he was hiring a token. He was welcoming a Trojan horse. And the clock on his empire started ticking at that exact moment. Most people would have walked away, but walking away doesn't dismantle the machine. What happens next flips the board. I accepted his pitiful salary offer without negotiation. I let him believe he'd gotten a bargain, a brilliant mind for pennies on the dollar. He felt powerful. He felt magnanimous. It was crucial he felt that way. For the plan to work, he had to underestimate me at every single turn for the next 7 years. The air in the boardroom now is thick with the smell of panicked sweat and expensive, failing cologne. Jessica, his daughter, is vibrating with a rage she can't contain. Her face is a mask of crimson disbelief. "You can't do this," she hisses, her voice a sharp, ugly thing. "We gave you this opportunity." Gave me, I think. The word hangs in the air. A gift, like a charity case they picked up. The opportunity to work 80-hour weeks. The opportunity to have my projects stolen. The opportunity to be spoken over in every meeting. The opportunity to be the office mom, asked to order lunch for the all-male executive team. That opportunity. I keep my expression placid. A calm lake. Beneath the surface, the Leviathan is waking. The security chief, a burly man named Peterson, who has only ever grunted in my direction, takes a step forward. He's looking at Charles, waiting for the order. This is the moment. The precipice. Do they push? They always push. It's the only move they know. But here's where it gets insane. They think this is their room. They think these are their guards. They are operating on information that expired the second I hit send on an email from a burner phone 37 seconds ago. An email with a single attachment. A digitally signed execution of Clause 22B of the Stryker Holding Group's acquisition contract. The Hostile Asset Dissolution Clause. 2021. Project Chimera pitch. 10 a.m. I was electric. I'd been working on the neural network algorithm for 18 months. It was revolutionary. It would triple the efficiency of our data processing and open up a new billion-dollar revenue stream. I laid it all out. The math was perfect. The projections were conservative. The board was silent. Then Charles cleared his throat. It's ambitious, Imani. A little aggressive for our current fiscal outlook. He smiled that same condescending smile. Let's table this. We'll circle back. 2 months later, his son, Chad Hemlock, a man whose greatest achievement was getting a CI in business management at a state school his father had donated a library to, presented my project. He'd changed the name to Project Overlord. He'd copied my slides, just changing the font. He stumbled through the presentation, barely understanding the core concepts. The board gave him a standing ovation and a 7-figure bonus. I watched from the back of the room. I didn't say a word. I just added another file to my encrypted folder, a folder labeled Invoice. The erasure was so blatant, so shameless. They didn't even think I would notice, or if I did, that I would be too scared to do anything about it. They count on our silence. They bank on it. What they don't realize is that some of us are just taking notes. Every slight, every stolen idea, every casual dismissal, it's all data. And I was building a model of my own, a model for their total destruction. The tension in this room right now is a ghost of that moment. The same dismissal, the same arrogant assumption of power. But the variables have changed. The power is mine. They just haven't caught up to the new data set. In the next 14 seconds, Jessica is going to make the biggest mistake of her life. A mistake that will go viral before she can even process it. "I said get her out!" Charles finally bellows, his voice echoing in the cavernous room. Peterson glances at me, a flicker of something in his eyes. Pity? Uncertainty? It doesn't matter. He's a cog. He follows orders. He takes another step. I still haven't moved. My heart is a steady, slow drum. I can feel the vibration of my phone in my pocket. It's not a call. It's a series of silent, pre-programmed alerts. The first domino has fallen. The algorithm is running. The asset transfer is in motion. Jessica sees his hesitation. And it breaks her. "Useless!" she screams, not at me, but at Peterson. She shoves past him. This is the escalation, the raw, unfiltered bigotry that was always lurking just beneath the thin veneer of corporate professionalism. She snatches the employee ID clipped to my blazer. "You are nothing!" she spits, her face inches from mine. I can smell the sourness of her breath, the faint scent of Chardonnay from lunch. "You were a charity case, a little project to make us look good." She holds up the ID, my face smiling back from the plastic. "This doesn't make you one of us." And then she rips it in half. The plastic makes a sharp crack. The sound seems to suck all the air out of the room. The two halves of my face flutter to the floor. And that's when she does it. The thing that seals her fate. The thing that turns this from a corporate dispute into a global headline. "Go back to wherever you came from, you ungrateful." I don't let her finish the word. But it hangs in the air anyway. Poisonous. Irrevocable. The silence that follows is deafening, but it's punctuated by a new sound, the soft, insidious click of a dozen cell phone cameras turning on. The junior associates, the assistants, the janitorial staff who were cleaning the outer offices, they all heard it. Their phones are up, pointed, recording. The crowd has become a Greek chorus. Live stream chat explodes. OMG, did she just say that? Hemlock is over party. Get her, Queen! Jessica's eyes dart around, finally seeing the raised phones. A flash of pure, animal panic. She has just immolated her life, and her father's, on a live broadcast, for the world to see. But the real show hasn't even started. Last week, corporate retreat, 8 p.m., the final straw. It was supposed to be a team-building exercise, a celebration of a successful quarter, a quarter made successful by my algorithm, the one Chad was still taking credit for. Jessica cornered me by the bar. She was drunk, her words slurring slightly, but her malice was sharp as a razor. You know, she'd said, leaning in conspiratorially, Daddy thinks you're brilliant, but I know the truth. She tapped the side of her nose. You're just good at managing up, sucking up. It's what your people do best, right? She laughed, a high tinkling sound that didn't reach her eyes. She thought it was a microaggression, a subtle cut. She didn't realize she was handing me the final piece of evidence I needed. My phone was in my jacket pocket, recording audio. It had been recording every interaction I'd had with a hemlock for the past 2 years. The file was automatically uploaded to a secure cloud server, time-stamped and transcribed by an AI. This was the pattern of behavior my legal team needed. The final nail. Her words just now, the slur she almost spat. It wasn't an aberration. It was a conclusion. The final data point in a 7-year study of systemic, generational bigotry. And now, class is over. It's time to publish the findings. I finally move. I don't look at Jessica. I don't look at the shattered pieces of my ID on the floor. I look at her father. I let the silence stretch. 1 beat, 2 beats. Let him feel the weight of what his daughter has just done. Let him see the phones. Let him feel the tectonic plates of his world shifting beneath his feet. He opens his mouth, about to try and spin this, to control the narrative, to do what he has always done. But I speak first. 1 sentence, quiet, clear, devastating. This entire building belongs to me. The word hangs there. Me. Absolute silence for 1.5 beats. The phones don't waver. No one breathes. Charles's face goes slack, the blood draining from it. Confusion wars with dawning horror. It doesn't compute. His mind is a fortress of assumptions, and I have just detonated the foundation. He sees the diversity hire, the token. The girl from the wrong side of the tracks who he graciously gave a chance. He cannot see the owner, the architect of his ruin. The final signature. The system starts to respond before he can. On the large monitor behind him, the one usually displaying the soaring Hemlock Industries stock ticker, a new image appears. A crisp, clean PDF. The final page of the Stryker Holding Group acquisition contract. My signature, Imani R. Vance, is clear at the bottom, dated today. Beside it, a new line of text flashes in bold red letters. Ownership Clause 22B, enacted. Asset transfer in progress. Charles's own phone buzzes on the table. A push notification from his private bank. Alert. Hemlock personal asset accounts frozen pending majority stakeholder review. Then Jessica's phone. Alert. Corporate Amex balance, $0,000. Card revoked. Then Peterson's radio crackles to life. A calm, synthesized voice, my voice, from a pre-recorded audio file, echoes through the room. Security Chief Peterson, your access credentials have been revoked. Please escort Charles and Jessica Hemlock from the premises. They are now considered trespassers. Every security badge on every executive in the room suddenly blinks from green to red. A soft, synchronized beep of excommunication. The stock ticker on the screen reappears, but it's no longer soaring. It's a plummeting red line. HMX, 18%, 22%, 35%. Millions of dollars evaporating in seconds. On the company's internal contract portal, a global message pops up on every employee's screen. Access revoked. All Hemlock-level executive privileges are terminated, effective immediately. The empire isn't just imploding, it's being systematically, digitally, and publicly dismantled in real time. By the time I finish this sentence, their net worth will be a rounding error. Charles stumbles back, clutching his chest. It's not a heart attack. It's the agony of a god discovering he's mortal. No, he whispers. It's a pathetic sound, a dry leaf skittering across pavement. No, this is my company. My father built this. He looks at me, his eyes wide with a terror I have waited 7 years to see. You! Who are you? Jessica is the first to break completely. The rage collapses into a raw, ugly sob. She drops to her knees, not in supplication, in sheer, animalistic despair. Please, she chokes out, tears carving tracks through her expensive foundation. Please, we'll give you anything. A promotion, a raise, a board seat. The bargaining stage, predictable, pathetic. She crawls a few inches forward, her hands outstretched. Don't do this. You'll ruin us. You'll ruin everything. Her tears are not for the people she's harmed, the careers she's sabotaged, the dignity she's stripped away with casual cruelty. They are for her cancelled black card, for her lost status, for the impending loss of her summer home in the Hamptons. It's the shriek of ultimate entitlement, the tantrum of a queen facing the guillotine. I feel nothing, no pity, no satisfaction. Just a quiet sense of balance, of an equation finally being solved. I look down at her, my face a mask of serene indifference. I let her sob for another 10 seconds, the sound echoing in the tomb-like silence of the boardroom, a silence punctuated only by the relentless clicking of the stock ticker bleeding out on the screen behind me. Then I deliver the verdict. My voice is cold, a chip of ice. You priced respect at 0, I say. Now pay the invoice. Peterson, his face pale, finally moves. He understands now. He's not taking orders from a CEO anymore. He's taking orders from the building itself, from the system. He and another guard, one whose badge is still green, gently but firmly take Charles and Jessica by the arms. They don't resist. They are hollowed out. Shells. As they are led out, a new series of images flash on the main screen, a rapid-fire montage of the immediate fallout. First, a headline from a major financial news network, already live. Hemlock Industries in free fall. Mysterious takeover. Then, a screenshot of a trending topic on social media. Hat Vancroft cancelled. My real last name isn't Vance. That was an alias, part of the cover. My name is Imani Vancroft, Stryker's protege, his named successor. The final image is a social media clip, already with millions of views. Jessica's face, twisted in her racist tirade, captured from a dozen angles. The caption reads, CEO's daughter tells black executive to go back. The exec? She now owns the company. The loop is closed. The story is told. The consequences are absolute. The doors of the boardroom hiss shut behind them, leaving me alone in the sudden, profound silence. My phone buzzes again. It's a text from Jonathan Stryker. A single word. Checkmate. I walk over to the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the city lights blinking on as dusk settles. For 7 years, I looked out this window and saw their kingdom. Now, I see my foundation. The work is just beginning. If you think losing the penthouse was brutal, wait till you see the board member who funded their hate, the one who told Charles to keep the diversity project on a short leash. Drop "next" in comments, and I'll expose him tomorrow. Comment "justice" if you felt that slap. Share with someone who forgets respect is non-negotiable. Sub so you don't miss the board takedown. The silence in the room is a physical thing. It has weight. It presses in. For 2,555 days, this room was a battlefield. A place of quiet humiliations and loud erasures. Now, it's just a room. My room. I can feel the low hum of the building's climate control. A sound I'd never noticed before, over the frantic beating of my own heart in these meetings. Now my pulse is slow, steady. The rhythm of a marathon runner who has just crossed the finish line. My first call isn't to my legal team. It's not to Stryker. It's to my mother. She answers on the first ring, her voice warm and worried, as always. "Imani, baby, is everything okay?" I let out a breath I feel like I've been holding since 2017. "It's done, Mama," I say, my voice thick with an emotion I can't even name. Relief? Triumph? Exhaustion? It's all done. There's a pause on the other end of the line. I can hear the soft sounds of her kitchen, the clink of a spoon against a ceramic mug. She knows. Maybe not the details, but she knows the war I've been fighting. The cost. "Good," she says, her voice as solid and comforting as the earth itself. "Good. Now come home and let me make you some soup." I smile, a real smile, for the first time today. I will, I promise. Soon. But not yet. The machine I've activated is still running its course. On my second monitor, I pull up the internal comms system. I have a message to send to the 14,247 employees of what is, as of 9 minutes ago, Vancroft Stryker Industries. I type, my fingers flying across the keyboard. "Team," I begin. "My name is Dr. Imani Vancroft. As of 6:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am the new CEO and majority shareholder of this company. I know there are rumors and questions. There will be a company-wide town hall tomorrow at 9 a.m. to address them. Until then, know this. The era of rewarding mediocrity and punishing brilliance is over. The currency of this company is no longer who you know. It is what you build. Your badges will all be green in the morning. Let's get to work." I hit send. The message propagates instantly. I can almost feel the shockwave ripple through the company's various offices across the globe. The fear, the hope, the confusion. That's fine. Clarity will come. You have to demolish the old structure completely before you can build something new on the foundation. Most people think a takeover is about numbers on a spreadsheet, a financial transaction. But what they don't understand is that it's an exorcism. You are casting out the toxic culture, the ghosts of past injustices that haunt the hallways. What Charles and Jessica never understood is that their bigotry wasn't just a moral failing. It was a business liability. It made the company slow. It made it stupid. They threw away genius because it didn't come in the package they expected. They promoted sycophants over innovators. The rot starts at the top. And I am the cure, or the chemo, depending on your perspective. My phone buzzes. A news alert. The video of Jessica is everywhere. It's the lead story on every major network. The headline is brutal. The ugly face of old money. Hemlock heiress's racist meltdown goes viral. They're using the clip from the junior associate's phone. The audio is crystal clear. Her words hanging in the air for all the world to hear and judge. This is the part of the plan that was always the most volatile. I could control the contracts, the code, the asset transfers. I couldn't control her. I could only predict her. I built a psychological profile of her over 7 years. I knew her triggers, her insecurities, her deep-seated fear that she was nothing without her father's name. I knew that when backed into a corner, when her privilege was truly challenged for the first time in her life, the mask would slip. And it did. Beautifully. In the next 27 seconds, her alma mater will release a statement condemning her actions. Her name will be quietly removed from the alumni donor board. The social death is always faster than the financial one. You might think this is cruel. But is it as cruel as watching your life's work be stolen by a less qualified man-child? Is it as cruel as being told to go back when you have built the very place you are standing in? There is a difference between cruelty and consequences. I am not cruel. I am a consequence. I walk over to the bar in the corner of the boardroom, the same bar where Charles would pour himself a scotch after a long day of taking credit for other people's work. His favorite bottle is there, Macallan 25, a $4,000 bottle of whiskey. I pick it up. It's heavy in my hand. I think about the symbolism, drinking his whiskey, a final act of dominance. But that's his game, not mine. I unscrew the cap, walk over to the potted fern in the corner, and pour the entire bottle into the soil. The smell of peat and sherry fills the air. A libation for the ghosts. A cleansing. The plant will probably die. A small price to pay for a fresh start. A new notification pops up on the main screen. It's from the building's automated security system. Visitor alert. Charles Hemlock has been escorted to the curb. Visitor alert. Jessica Hemlock has been escorted to the curb. A final digital indignity. They are no longer even recognized by the building they thought they owned. They are just visitors who have overstayed their welcome. But here's the part that no one will see on the news tonight. The real victory. I open my laptop and initiate a video call. A face pops up. A young, brilliant black woman named Kendra, a junior coder in the R&D department. She looks terrified. Dr. Vance, I got your message. I know you did, Kendra, I say, my voice warm. I also saw your project proposal, the one on predictive data modeling that your supervisor rejected last month. Her eyes go wide. How? I make it my business to know about genius that's being ignored, I say. Your supervisor has been reassigned. The project is green-lit. You are now the project lead. The budget will be in your account within the hour. Pick your own team. Her face crumples. But this time, it's with tears of joy, of shock, of being seen. Thank you, she whispers. Dr. Vance, thank you. Don't thank me, I say. Just be brilliant. That's all I ask. This is why I did it. Not for the revenge. That was just a perk. I did it for all the Kendras, for all the brilliant minds being suffocated by the dead weight of prejudice and mediocrity. I did it to change the equation. The Hemlocks of the world think power is a zero-sum game. They think for them to have more, someone else has to have less. They are wrong. Real power isn't about hoarding it. It's about unleashing it in others. And I am just getting started. The phone rings again. This time it's a number I don't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. A few seconds later, a transcript appears. It's from a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. Dr. Vancroft, we are running a story on the Hemlock takeover. We have a source on the board, Harrison Gable, who claims you acquired the company through fraudulent means. He's claiming... I stop reading. Harrison Gable, the board member who golfs with Charles. The one who called me a short-leash diversity project. The one whose finances are deeply and secretly entangled with the Hemlocks in a way that is about to become very, very illegal. He thinks he's planting a story to discredit me. He doesn't realize he's just announced himself as my next target. The machine is hungry, and I'm about to feed it. You'd have done the same, wouldn't you? The sun has fully set. The city is a tapestry of glittering lights. My city now. From this vantage point, you can't see the struggle. You can't see the grit and the grime. You only see the result. The shining towers. People forget what it takes to build something that tall. The steel has to be forged in fire. The foundations have to be dug deep into the bedrock. My foundation is 7 years of disrespect. My steel is forged from every microaggression, every stolen idea, every condescending smile. I am unbreakable. My personal phone, a different device from the burner I use to start the cascade, buzzes with notifications. Friends, former colleagues, even my old thesis advisor from MIT. The news is traveling fast. They are sending messages of shock, of congratulations, of awe. They are seeing the outcome. They never saw the process. They didn't see the nights I spent sleeping in the office, not because of deadlines, but because I was running simulations, wargaming every possible move and countermove the Hemlocks could make. They didn't see the years I spent building a back-channel network within the company, identifying the true talent, the people who were loyal to the work, not to the name on the building. People like Kendra. People who will form the backbone of the new Vancroft Stryker Industries. A quiet knock on the boardroom door. It's Maria from the night shift custodial team. A kind woman from El Salvador with pictures of her grandchildren taped to her cleaning cart. She looks at me, then at the empty room, her eyes wide. "Dr. Vance," she says, her voice a little shaky. "Is it true?" I smile at her. "It is, Maria." She breaks into a huge grin. "Dios te bendiga," she says, making a small sign of the cross. "That Mr. Hemlock, he was a monster. He yelled at my crew last week for leaving a smudge on the glass." She gestures to the massive window I'm standing in front of. "He said we were replaceable." I walk over to my new desk. The CEO's desk. I log into the HR portal. I pull up the custodial staff's employment contracts. I find the payroll section. With a few clicks, I give the entire night shift custodial team a 50% raise, effective immediately. I double their pension contributions. I institute a new scholarship fund for the children of all facilities and maintenance staff. "Maria," I say, not looking up from the screen, "check your email." Her phone chimes. She looks down at it. Her eyes fill with tears. "No one is replaceable, Maria," I say softly. "Especially not the people who keep the lights on." She just nods, unable to speak, and quietly backs out of the room. This is power, not the screaming tour, chest-thumping dominance of a Charles Hemlock. It's the quiet, systematic rewriting of the rules. It's tilting the scales back toward fairness. But here's the thing about fairness. To the people who have benefited from an unfair system, it feels like oppression. The backlash is coming. I know it is. Harrison Gable's pathetic attempt to plant a story is just the first tremor. The rest of the old guard on the board will circle the wagons. They'll launch investigations. They'll try to paint me as a villain, a corporate raider, an angry black woman who stole what wasn't hers. They will use the same tired, racist, and sexist tropes they always use. Let them. I have a file for each and every one of them. An invoice folder, just like the one I had for the Hemlocks. I have spent years mapping their networks of corruption, their insider deals, their golden parachutes funded by employee layoffs. They think this is a boardroom fight. They don't understand that I'm not here to fight. I'm here to fumigate. I pull up the building's security feed on the main monitor. I watch Charles and Jessica standing on the sidewalk. The flashing lights of a news van are already there, a reporter shoving a microphone in their faces. Charles is stone-faced, pushing the camera away. But Jessica, she's yelling, gesticulating wildly. I can't hear her, but I can read the rage on her face. She is performing her victimhood. She is telling them how unfair this is, how she was attacked, how everything was stolen from them. She is crafting the narrative that she hopes will save her. It's a fascinating thing to watch. The complete and total lack of self-awareness. Most people in her position would feel shame. But shame requires the ability to see yourself from another's perspective. And the Hemlocks are pathologically incapable of that. Their world is a mirror, and everyone else in it is just there to reflect their own imagined greatness back at them. Today, I shattered that mirror, and they can't stand the sight of their true selves. The stock ticker has bottomed out for the day, closing at a 48% loss. Over $200 million of shareholder value incinerated in less than an hour. A brutal, catastrophic loss. Tomorrow, when the market opens, Stryker and I will initiate a stock buyback program. We'll consolidate our control. We'll reward the investors who held on, the ones who believe in the new vision. We will rebuild, but we will rebuild it on a new blueprint. I minimize the security feed. I'm done watching them. They are ghosts, relics of a bygone era. My focus is on the future. And the future is Harrison Gable. I pull up my file on him. It's thick, forged expense reports, a secret shell corporation used to award no-bid contracts to his brother-in-law's construction company, an affair with a junior analyst that he paid to silence. It's all there, documented, verified, time-stamped. He thinks he's going to fight me in the press. He thinks it's my word against his. He has no idea he's bringing a strongly worded opinion to a data-driven gunfight. He's about to learn what the Hemlocks just learned. When you try to erase people, you better be sure you get all of them, because one of them might just be keeping a backup of the entire system. And the restoration process is a real bitch. I start drafting an email, not to the press, not to the board, to Harrison Gable's wife. I attach a single file, a video, from a hotel security camera. Sometimes the most effective move isn't the one on the main chessboard. It's the one that kicks the legs out from under your opponent's chair. The dominoes are set. I just need to decide which one to push next. This is what they never tell you about power. It's not about the big, dramatic moments. It's about the thousands of small, deliberate choices that lead up to them. It's about patience. And it's about knowing exactly where to apply pressure to make the whole rotten structure collapse. And I have the schematics. A new wave of alerts hits the financial news networks. Stryker Holding Group confirms Vancroft as new CEO of former Hemlock Industries. The confirmation sends a secondary shockwave through the market. Jonathan Stryker is a legend, a recluse. He hasn't been actively involved in a company's operations in over a decade. His backing gives me instant, ironclad credibility. It reframes the narrative. This wasn't a hostile takeover by an unknown entity. This was a planned, strategic acquisition by one of the most respected and feared players in the tech world. The story Gable was trying to plant dies before it can even take root. You can't slander a ghost. And Stryker is a ghost with a multi-billion-dollar war chest. I see the strategy. It's brilliant in its simplicity. Let the Hemlocks and their cronies scream fraud. Let them look like petty, vindictive fools. Then drop the Stryker bomb and obliterate their credibility in a single press release. It's a classic misdirection. While they were focused on me, the angry black woman, the real power was consolidating in the shadows. But here's the part even Stryker might not fully appreciate. He provided the capital, the access, but I provided the intelligence. I was the one on the ground for 7 years, gathering the data, mapping the weaknesses, building the kill switch. He bought the building. I rewired it from the inside out. He thinks he placed a queen on the board. He's about to find out he crowned an empress. The weight of the last few hours begins to settle in my bones. It's a deep, profound exhaustion, the kind that comes after a long battle. The adrenaline is fading, leaving behind a quiet hum. I think about my father. He was a mechanic, a brilliant one. He could listen to an engine and tell you exactly what was wrong with it. He loved taking things apart, understanding how they worked, and putting them back together better than before. But he worked for a man, Mr. Henderson, who owned the garage. Henderson was a fool who didn't know a carburetor from a catalytic converter. But he was white, and he had inherited the business. My father did all the work, made Henderson rich, but was never offered a partnership. He was always just the help. He died of a heart attack at 52, covered in grease, his hands worn down to the bone. He never got to own what he built. I am my father's daughter. I know how to fix a broken machine. And Hemlock Industries was a broken, clanking, inefficient machine, running on the fumes of entitlement and prejudice. The Hemlocks were Mr. Henderson. All of them. And I just repossessed the garage. I stand up and walk back to the window. The news van is gone. The crowd has dispersed. Charles and Jessica are gone. The street below is just a street again. The world moves on, fast. By tomorrow, this will be an old story. The market will stabilize. The company will have a new name, a new CEO. The machine will keep running, but it will run differently. It will run better. It will run on merit. It will run on respect. And if anyone forgets that, I will be here to remind them. The invoice is always due. I allow myself a small, private moment of satisfaction. I see my reflection in the dark glass of the window, the city lights like a galaxy behind me. I see the woman Charles Hemlock interviewed at 2 a.m. in 2017. She was so determined, so focused, but also so scared. Scared of failing, scared of being found out, scared they would see the fire in her eyes and extinguish it before it could catch. I'm not scared anymore. The fire is a furnace now. It's burning down the old world to forge a new one. My phone chimes. It's the email I sent to Mrs. Gable. The delivery receipt. Read, 7:14 p.m. The next domino just fell. I can almost hear it tipping over, starting a chain reaction that will ripple through the Hamptons, the country clubs, the charity boards. The old guard's network is built on secrets and lies. And I just turned on the lights. Most people think the story ends here. The villain gets their comeuppance, the hero wins, roll credits. They don't understand. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. This was just step 1. Secure the asset. Step 2 is dismantling the system that created the Hemlocks in the first place, a system that extends far beyond this one company. And that system is run by a shadow council of board members, investors, and old money patriarchs who all protect each other. They think they're untouchable. They're about to find out they're just over-leveraged. The real war is about to begin. And I have enough ammunition to burn their entire world to the ground. You thought this was about a racist comment? It's so much bigger than that. And if you stick around, I'll show you just how deep the rot goes. The first board member is about to get a call from his wife. The second is about to get a call from the SEC. And the third... Well, let's just say he should have never underestimated the quiet woman who always brought donuts to the Monday morning meetings. He has no idea what I found on his server. The door to the boardroom swishes open again. This time it's a team of 3 people in sharp, dark suits. My personal transition team, flown in from Stryker's headquarters in Austin. They've been on standby for 48 hours, waiting for my signal. The leader, a woman with silver hair and eyes that could chip granite, nods at me. Dr. Vancroft, we're ready to begin the integration. Her name is Evelyn Reed. She's Stryker's legendary fixer. When a company needs to be turned inside out, sanitized, and rebuilt, they call Evelyn. She doesn't deal in emotions. She deals in logistics. The executive floor is secure, she says, her voice crisp. We've initiated digital and physical lockdowns of all Hemlock-affiliated files. The forensic accounting team is already online and digging. We'll have a preliminary report on Gable and the others by sunrise. Good, I say. Prioritize the off-books slush fund Charles used for corporate retreats. I have a suspicion it's tied to a few political campaigns that are about to have a very bad news cycle. Evelyn allows herself a thin smile. My pleasure. She hands me a tablet. On the screen is a list of names. The entire executive leadership of Hemlock Industries. Beside each name is a simple choice: retain or terminate. I don't hesitate. I go down the list. The CFO who buried my R&D budget requests. Terminate. The head of HR who dismissed 3 separate complaints of racial bias as misunderstandings. Terminate. Chad Hemlock, the son, whose official title was VP of Strategic Innovation, but whose actual job was taking up oxygen. Terminate. 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 In 90 seconds, I have decapitated the entire leadership structure of a $500 million corporation. It's not chaos. It's surgery. We're cutting out the cancer. Evelyn takes the tablet back. Replacements? I've already sent you the list, I say. They're the people whose names were at the bottom of the payroll, but at the top of the patent filings, the ones who have been doing the real work for years. This is how you change a culture, not with a mission statement, not with a diversity seminar. You change it by changing who holds power. You promote the overlooked. You empower the marginalized. You reward the brilliant, regardless of their package. The Hemlocks ran this place like a country club. I'm going to run it like a meritocracy. And it will be brutal for those who can't keep up. A young man on Evelyn's team, a tech specialist, looks up from his laptop. Dr. Vancroft, we have a problem. My focus sharpens. Define problem. Charles Hemlock is still logged into a personal cloud account that's synced to the main server. He's initiated a remote wipe protocol. It's low-level, but it could corrupt some of the older archival data. It seems to be targeting R&D files from 2017 to 2021. My files, my work, a final petty act of spite, a last attempt to erase me. Can you stop it? I ask. It's heavily encrypted. It would take us hours to break through his credentials and halt the command from this end, the tech says, his fingers flying across his keyboard. The data will be gone in less than 10 minutes. Evelyn looks at me, a question in her eyes. I feel a cold, calm certainty settle over me. He's forgotten one thing, I say. I walk over to the main terminal, the one at the head of the long boardroom table. The CEO's terminal. I sit down in the chair that was his for 40 years. It's still warm. The system prompts me for a password. I type, Chimera 21. The name of the project he stole from me. Access granted. I have global administrative privileges, not just as the owner, but as a system architect. I built the back end of this network. I know its secrets. I know its kill codes. I pull up the command line. I can see his wipe protocol, a clumsy, brutish piece of code. It's like watching a child trying to smash a lock with a rock. I type a single line of code. It's a command I embedded in the system 5 years ago. A hidden backdoor that only I know about. It's called Invoice XE. I hit enter. On the other end, wherever Charles is, in his car, in his lawyer's office, his laptop screen will have just gone black. A single line of text will have appeared in the center of the screen. Access denied. Your account has been terminated. And just for a final little twist of the knife, I reroute the wipe protocol. It will no longer target the R&D archives. It will target his personal cloud, his family photos, his financial records, his contacts, everything. A digital life, deleted. He tried to erase my work, so I will erase his memory. The tech specialist stares at his screen, his mouth hanging open. The protocol, it's gone. It's been reversed. How did you do that? I look at him. He thought he was the user. He forgot I was the administrator. Evelyn Reed actually chuckles. A dry, rustling sound. I think we're going to get along just fine, Dr. Vancroft. The real work has begun. And my hands are finally on the keyboard. The night deepens. The transition team works with a terrifying, silent efficiency. They are ghosts in the machine, purging old data, installing new protocols, rewriting the digital DNA of the company. I am fueled by coffee and a sense of righteous purpose that feels like electricity in my veins. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. You think you're clever, you little bitch? You have no idea who you're dealing with. This isn't over. It's not signed, but I know it's from Jessica. The rage has curdled into threats. Predictable. I take a screenshot and forward it to my head of security. We'll add it to the file for the restraining order. But her message reveals a deeper truth. They still don't get it. They think this is about them, about their personal feud with me. They still can't comprehend that I am just the instrument of a much larger correction. The market correcting for their incompetence. The culture correcting for their bigotry. The world correcting for their obsolescence. They are dinosaurs, bellowing at the asteroid. I turn my attention back to the tablet Evelyn gave me. It's not just about terminations. It's about restructuring. The Strategic Innovation Department, which was just a clubhouse for Chad and his frat brothers, is being dissolved. Its budget is being rerouted to a new, internal R&D incubator, which Kendra will help me run. The marketing department, known for its tone-deaf, Exclusionary campaigns will be gutted. We will build a new team, one that speaks to the world as it is, not as it was in 1985. Every department, every budget, every job title is under review. Nothing is sacred. This is what's known as a deep clean. Before you can build, you must clear the ground, and the ground here is cluttered with decades of dead wood, of useless legacy positions, of people who have been collecting a paycheck for doing nothing more than having the right last name. This process will be painful for some. It will be jarring, but it is necessary. Companies, like people, get sick. They get infected with complacency, with prejudice, with arrogance. If you don't treat the disease, it will kill you. I am the surgeon, and I am not known for my gentle bedside manner. Evelyn's team has a projection on the main screen. It's a network map, a spiderweb of connections, showing the flow of money and influence between Hemlock Industries, its board members, and various outside entities. It's a masterpiece of corporate corruption. Harrison Gable's shell company is a bright red node, linked to illegal campaign contributions to a certain senator who has been blocking industry regulations. Another board member, a woman named Beatrice Fairchild, has been using company funds to prop up her family's failing textile business with overpriced, no-bid contracts for office supplies. It's all there. A web of graft and self-dealing, all paid for by the company's shareholders and the sweat of its employees. The SEC will be very interested in this, Evelyn says, her voice flat. This goes beyond shareholder lawsuits. This is criminal. I know, I say, but we're not going to the SEC. Not yet. Evelyn raises an eyebrow. Why not? Because the SEC will just fine them, I explain. They'll pay the fine, resign from the board, and retreat to their country clubs with their reputations slightly tarnished, but their fortunes intact. That's not justice. That's a cost of doing business. I zoom in on the network map. We are going to dismantle their network ourselves. We will use this information to force them to divest from their other holdings. We will expose their corruption to their other business partners. We will make them radioactive. We will not just remove them from this company. We will remove them from the game entirely. Evelyn is silent for a moment. I can see the gears turning behind her eyes. She is a pragmatist, a creature of rules and regulations. This is something else. This is scorched earth. This is aggressive, she finally says. Their entire system is built on aggression, I counter. They just hide it behind corporate jargon and legal loopholes. They call it hostile takeovers or leveraged buyouts. They ruin lives, destroy communities, and gut companies for profit, and they call it business. I'm just applying their own tactics back to them. The only difference is my motive isn't profit, it's pest control. A slow smile spreads across Evelyn's face. All right, doctor, she says. Let's burn it all down. I have found a kindred spirit. The night is young, and we have a lot of work to do. They thought the battle ended when the Hemlocks were escorted out of the building, but they were just the foot soldiers. Now, we go after the generals, the ones who fund the hate, the ones who rig the system, the ones who are about to find out what happens when the people they erased decide to write a new history. And the first chapter is titled Consequences. The first of the pre-dawn light begins to filter through the windows, painting the sky in shades of gray and bruised purple. The city is still asleep, but in this room, a new empire is being born from the ashes of the old. We have been working for almost 12 hours straight. The boardroom is littered with empty coffee cups and takeout containers. It smells like victory and stale pizza. The forensic accountants have unearthed a treasure trove of financial malfeasance. The legal team has drafted a dozen injunctions and restraining orders. The new HR department, a single, ruthlessly efficient man named David Chen, whom I poached from a rival tech firm, has already begun onboarding the new department heads. We have accomplished in one night what would have taken a normal company a year to do. But we are not a normal company. We are a revolution. A notification pops onto my screen. It's an article from a popular tech blog. The headline, "Not a Takeover, a Takedown. Inside Imani Vancroft's 7-year plan to gut Hemlock Industries." Someone has leaked the story. The real story. Not just the racist meltdown, but the long, patient, methodical strategy behind it. The article details the stolen projects, the suppressed patents, the systemic pattern of bias. It even has quotes from anonymous former employees who corroborate the toxic culture. The narrative is shifting. I'm no longer being painted as a corporate raider. I'm being framed as a liberator, a vigilante in a business suit. This is good. This is very good. Public perception is a weapon, and right now, it's aimed squarely at the old guard. They can't play the victim if the world sees them as the villains. My phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize, but the area code is for the Hamptons. I answer, putting it on speaker. "This is Vancroft." A man's voice, sputtering with rage. You have some nerve! Do you know who I am?" I glance at Evelyn. She pulls up the number on her system. A picture of Harrison Gable appears on the screen, his face puffy and red. "Harrison?" I say, my voice calm and pleasant. "To what do I owe the pleasure?" "I hear the weather on Long Island is lovely this time of year." "Don't you play coy with me," he barks. "My wife, she's leaving me. She's filing for divorce. You sent her that video." "I'm a firm believer in transparency, Harrison," I say. "Secrets have a way of rotting things from the inside out. Wouldn't you agree?" He makes a choking sound. "I'll destroy you. I'll call every reporter in this city. I'll tell them how you forged documents, how you manipulated Stryker." "You do that," I say, my voice turning to ice. "But while you're on the phone with them, I'll be on the phone with the district attorney. I'll be sending him a very interesting file on a shell company called Gable Construction Solutions. Does that name ring a bell? A company that received over $20 million in no-bid contracts from Hemlock Industries over the past 5 years. Contracts signed off on by your good friend, Charles. It's funny, though. For a construction company, it seems to have no employees, no equipment, and no actual construction sites. Just a P.O. box in the Cayman Islands." Silence. The sputtering rage is gone, replaced by a cold, heavy dread. I can hear him breathing, the sound ragged and shallow. He knows. He's trapped. "What do you want?" he finally whispers. It's the question they always ask. The question of a man who believes everything has a price. "I want your resignation from the board," I say. "Effective immediately. I want you to sell back your shares to the company at a 50% loss. And I want a public statement from you, endorsing my leadership and apologizing for your gross oversight in allowing the toxic culture at Hemlock to fester." "That's insane," he hisses. "It's career suicide." "Your career was over the moment you decided to embezzle $20 million, I reply. "This is just you signing the death certificate. You have 1 hour to send me your signed resignation. If I don't have it, the file goes to the DA. The clock is ticking, Harrison." I hang up. I don't wait for a reply. Evelyn looks at me, a glimmer of admiration in her eyes. "One down," she says. 5 to go, I reply, taking a sip of my cold coffee. The sun is rising, and the roaches are starting to scurry. We are just getting started. This is the new way of doing business. No more backroom deals. No more golden handshakes for corrupt executives. Just cold, hard data and the relentless application of consequences. The Old Boys Club is about to be permanently closed for renovations. And they are not going to like the new management. You think watching him squirm was satisfying? Wait until you see what happens to Beatrice Fairchild when she finds out her family's company just lost its only client. The dominoes are falling faster now, and the sound is music to my ears.